Welcome back to Designing Worlds, the show all about design and designers in virtual worlds. Today we're looking at the world of sailing in Second Life, and with me now are two interesting people. One is RJ Kikuchio, owner of KikuCraft, and the other is Tod Marlinspike, who's been working with RJ on a number of interesting projects, one of which we'll be seeing shortly. RJ makes a lot more than historic sailboats like the one behind us, but we'll see those shortly. Welcome to the show, guys, and thanks for being with us today.
Thanks, Rick. I'm a big fan of the show.
Well, thank you very much. RJ, one could say that you're actually uniquely qualified to work on these sort of projects in Second Life. What brought you here originally?
I was brought to Second Life by a broken ankle and 2 weeks of bed rest. At that time, I had to watch the world go on outside my room, and I was able to participate and put something of my own into this shared virtual world. I had been involved with 3D projects before. I'd heard of Second Life before, but in 2006, that August, I really jumped in, and I've been here ever since.
Very cool. And Tod, what's your story?
Well, I'm an avid sailor in real life, and I just thought that going into a virtual world might be fun, so saw some stuff on the internet about Second Life, and actually RJ's first Ernestina tall ship kind of made me jump into Second Life, and here I am now.
Brilliant. Excellent. Now, I'm very interested indeed in the vessel behind us, the Eagle. And RJ, I wonder if you could tell us a little about it.
Well, okay, this boat is a very special boat. In America, we have one tall ship that is an active military vessel. That's the U.S. Coast Guard Cutter Eagle, operated out of New London, Connecticut, as the Coast Guard Academy training ship. It's a magnificent boat, and I wanted to reproduce that boat and share that experience of seeing her under full sail with all of my friends and friends I haven't made yet here in Second Life.
Right. One thing that I really notice about it is the incredible detail. And you look at things, for example, like the helm. Really astonishing detail on every last part of this vessel. It would appear that detail is something that's very important to you.
Well, yeah, I mean, I endeavor to create a translation of a design. I'm not the designer in this case. That was put out by a German boatworks in the 1920s. So this vessel is a recreation. I come from a background of tooling up real world items and fabrications from plans, and so I just took that experience and brought it into a virtual world, and lucky for me, seems to be effective.
Oh, I think it's extraordinarily effective. Now, I believe that with Tod's help, you've actually started branching into mesh, and I think I'm right in saying that your first mesh vessel is actually moored alongside here. As a 3D designer of long standing, how are you finding mesh? How's it affected your boat building so far?
Rick, that's a really good question. I mean, this world, the Second Life tools have been around for a while. However, mesh has been around for a lot longer. I started with mesh in the earliest days, and it's nice to come back to it. The tools that are available offline are just amazing, and we are now able to produce stuff of stellar quality. And Tod, my good friend Tod here, has helped in a way to translate the Ernestina model that I had created some years ago, and we're releasing a mesh version of her so that her legacy can be seen and shared in Second Life.
So, Tod, perhaps you can tell us a little about the work on the Ernestina and a little bit about your design background and how you've come to use mesh.
Well, I don't really have a design background now that I think about it. I just stumbled upon it one day, and you know,
I think
got
that's
it.
I think that's true of many of us actually.
Yeah. Um, but with the Ernestina, I really took it like a kind of historic Second Life build, considering everyone knows about it. But I mean, yeah, pretty much. She was pretty hard to build in Mesh, considering RJ already put forth a lot of detail in the original one, so I was having some problems with that. But otherwise, she was pretty fun to build.
You
Cool.
could say that the Ernestina is built for future generations. In other words, the technology that we have now to display it is not quite up to the task. And we're still packing in detail. We were just talking earlier about the interior of Ernestina and getting that planned up and working in this model. So things are definitely looking ahead.
Okay. Todd, you alluded to Ernestina being actually quite a well-known vessel. I'm afraid that as I'm not in the sailing milieu myself particularly, and I have a few vessels in my inventory, but I wouldn't call myself a sort of major sailing buff. What's the story behind the Ernestina that makes it well known?
Well, it's a couple of stories. One of the better known ones is the you always leave a piece of it behind on the original one upon sim crossings. I know RJ probably knows this. But it's kind of been, I mean, it's been around for a little bit of time now. Well, a while, I guess, in Second Life. And it's really one of those boats where when you see it, you don't really forget it because of its size, and you don't see very many of them going around. That kind of makes it well known in its own way in Second Life, I think.
Sounds like it. Well, I must say, it's a gorgeous vessel, and I will be very interested to receive some sort of notification when it becomes available, because it looks like a really marvelous piece of work, and congratulations to both of you on it.
The Ernestina was started as a completely 100% full permission free open source project.
Oh,
and
wow.
It's been put on by a lot of different really talented people, some of the best in their game. We have a lot of people to thank on the team for making her the epic that she is. It's the list goes on. It can just say that we have some of the best people working on it, and I'm happy to invite anybody listening to participate and contact me in World and become part of the Ernestina team.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Oh, and you can go get a free copy of her online in the marketplace right now. Just look her up in Ernestina.
Oh, and that's the original version.
That's the original. Mm-hmm. We'll be sorting the mesh version as soon as we have it sailing, and that's going to be very soon, I think.
Yeah.
Wow, excellent. Well, I'll look forward to that a great deal. Now, let's turn, if we may, RJ, to... I want to talk to you in a minute about other areas that you're working in design-wise, and that's going to be really fascinating to talk about. And in fact, I have a nasty suspicion we could do an entire show with you, and maybe we should think about that at some point. But I understand that you're very interested in boating safety in real life. And I wonder if you can tell us a bit about that, and maybe a little about what role virtual worlds might play in that particular work.
Well, yes, it's true. I'm a program director at the Foundation for Safe Boating and Marine Information. We're on the web. It's a nonprofit. All we are trying to do is fulfill the missions of getting good information about safe boating into people's hands, whether it be in person, at boat shows, on the marinas, or here in Second Life. We have this information that is going to transit across the bit waves and be able to get your boating skills into shape, putting on a life jacket every time you go out. These types of practices help even in the virtual. We've seen how training in the virtual world actually leads to being a better boater. So in that way, The virtual world has held a lot of promise for me to be able to reproduce the kinds of seagoing skills that are going to be needed when you're out in the real world. And I take a lot of pride that we've done a good job. The sailing community and the creators of the boats have all worked together really well to produce a fascinating, real experience. And this experience is close, very close to the actual experience. So much so that when I'm stuck inside in the wintertime, I can feel the wind on my face just by sitting on a boat here and being alongside other boaters. It's a wonderful scene.
That's great.
So my experience being a Coast Guard auxiliarist and a volunteer with the United States programs and civilians that are helping exchange information in the real world, I understand the concepts and the problems that are faced by trying to get that information into people's hands. Here we have a lot of people that are interested in fact, are boaters in the real world as well. And this just helps reinforce that message and fulfills the missions of all those organizations.
Brilliant. Excellent. Am I right in thinking you've also been involved in Relay for Life in World?
I have. Pretty much since the beginning of my Second Life, I've been participating in the Relay for Life as my mother's a survivor, and I've donated product to each year's Sail for Life crew. And it's been really satisfying to see that this is a hugely recognized product out there, that the Relay for Life does make quite a difference for the fundraising for the Relay for Life and the American Cancer Society. I'm really happy to be part of it. And, there's a lot of people that I build for when I'm building. And you can probably tell when it comes out, the prims just speak of the love that's in there.
Wonderful. Excellent. Now, I've been dying to ask you about another aspect of your work in World, and I'm really concerned that we're going to basically only scratch the surface of all the stuff you've done. But you are really an expert also at lighthouses, I think, and I believe you've either modelled or designed a large number of lighthouses here in Second Life. And I can see there's at least 2, if not 3, either side of the bay here. Perhaps you could tell our viewers what fascinates you about lighthouses and the work you've done modelling them.
That's a funny story. I guess from the earliest days, in the very earliest days of 3D modeling, one of the examples that was always given out as a tutorial in the first couple of pages of the manual, you remember printed books, and it would describe how to make a cone and a point of light. And thus you had a lighthouse. And that lighthouse demo had been basically an old dog that was rolled out for every new 3D program. And I remember saying to myself, you know what, there are some really beautiful real world character, places that have character. These places need to be built, and these places can be represented and preserved. Partially because of my experience with the boating safety, and the lighthouses are part of that. The preservation of these historic buildings is something that I'm passionate about, and it shows. I've probably built about 60 or 70 lighthouses in Second Life, and before that I was modeling lighthouses and entire geographies to preserve what an active working light station would have looked like when it was manned on an island with a family, this kind of lifestyle that has been gone from the pages of our culture.
Right. Okay. Fascinating. Now, the other thing, one of the other things that we could talk about all day, this area around us here, I think, if I'm right in saying, both of you have been involved in putting this together. You've got a wonderful village here, and you've got this whole environment with the cannon in the mounting over there, and stuff like that. What's the story with this area here?
Well, Rick, the channel in Knaptrackicon. Am I saying that right? Knaptrackicon. as a name.
I wondered about that, I must say, yeah.
We'll have to just go with that. And this channel was originally fully occupied of Second Life Linden mainland. And with that, we had all of the blockages that you would get with a mainland random parcel situation. It turns out that Knaptrackicon is a major seaway between two water masses in Second Life. And this land was gradually purchased over time through donations and trusts of people that have participated in the sailing community to clear this and to make this an open waterway. Tod is he's our dockmaster, and he's also been working on keeping this land open for quite a while. And I really appreciate the question, because this effort wouldn't be possible without the participation from Elbag, Gable, and the crew, Jane Fawcett, and some of the others before that had put in, Tiggs Bikers had put in on this. So there's a huge crew of people that this represents. It's not just one person's affectation. What you're looking at today is the result of years of hard and very purposeful effort on the part of all those involved. So what we ended up with is a kind of a Mediterranean, northern Mediterranean, maybe around Croatia kind of sea town. It's got the European thing going on, and we've got fortifications, but the fort has been basically put to the civil use as a park now, because the pirates are long gone, and we have peace in the land. So I'm really thrilled with the work, and maybe Tod can tell us about the marina and what's been going on over there.
Well, not much. I mean, we've been organizing stuff, so eventually the boat slips, or where you would keep your boat, will be rented eventually. And yeah, we're just waiting for people to come. We actually have one slip right now. First tenant, I think last week, maybe. So it's getting there, I guess.
All right, cool, excellent. Now I want to return just to close this discussion. Return to one of your lighthouses, RJ, and that is, I suppose, a really special and highly regarded lighthouse that has a special place in Second Life. I wonder if you can tell us the story behind it.
Well, I think you're talking about in Blakesea, the Fastnet Rock Lighthouse. Is that right?
That's exactly it.
Well, that lighthouse has a funny story behind it, in that I was asked to build it by a friend who said, RJ, I can't pay you for it, but I really, really want to see this lighthouse. And I thought about it, and the Fastnet Rock Lighthouse represents something critical in the world of sailing that had happened in the 1979 Fastnet race. So it stands as a symbol of boating, peril and pleasure all at the same time. It's basically in the North Atlantic, just off the coast of Ireland, is a spike of rock from millions of years ago that has withstood the test of ocean waves pounding on it year after year after year. And it stands there, staring you in the face. And so they put a lighthouse on it. And then that lighthouse was blown down. And they put another lighthouse on it. And that lighthouse was blown down. So this lighthouse that's there today is the third lighthouse that has been built on Fastnet Rock. This rock is representing the sailing community, in that when Blakesea was put together, the Blakesea crew decided, the team that was working with the Lindens to develop a common sailing area in public property in Second Life, needed a representation of something that represented all sailors. And I had this request that was sitting there, and for a year I built this lighthouse, not really expecting to get paid for it, but just putting it together with the effort that I know it's a beautiful thing. And one day, Mark Twain White and the Lindens came to me and I said, can you put this in Blakesea as as a monument to our sailing community? And I said, absolutely. That would be exactly what it was designed to be at that point. It all came together. So I was very honored to be able to have that place, and I'm still just really thrilled that every time I see a photo or a new boat review in the magazines or online on your website, there's always a picture of Fastnet Rock sitting in the background. I guess it's just that kind of place. It grabs a lot of attention with the camera.
Well, it's a very striking. It's a very striking lighthouse and a very striking monument. And thank you so much for filling us in with the story behind it. Now, thank you both very much indeed for appearing on the show with us today. It's been a great pleasure to talk to you, and a great pleasure to hear about the work behind these amazing vessels and lighthouses and more. And thank you very much, guys, for spending the time to talk to us today.
Thanks for having me, Rick.
Thank you.
Now, I think Safia has found another pair of talented boat builders.